May I now request Shri Alok Kumar, DGP Goa, Shri Sanjay Jaju, Secretary, Srimati Vrunda Manohar Desai, Joint Secretary Films, Shri Prutul Kumar, Managing Director, NFDC, and Joint Secretary from Ministry, and Shekhar Kapoor, Festival Director, 55th IFFI, to please join us on stage to felicitate our guests. May I request Shri Sanjay Jaju sir and Shri Alok Kumar sir to please present our guests with a shawl and bilingual brochure. May I now request Shri Shekhar Kapoor to please present our guests with a customized My stamp issued by the Department of Posts on the birth centenary celebrations of 4 legends, Shri Raj Kapoor, Shri Mohammad Rafi, Shri Akkineni Nageswara Rao, and Shri Tapan Singha. May I also request Srimati Vrunda Manohar Desai ma'am to please present our guests a Sare Gama mini Karwa, which is exclusively designed and curated with nearly 350 songs for all the 4 maestros, sponsored by Sare Gama. And now I request Shri Prutul Kumar sir to please present our guests with the IFFI memento. Thank you to all the esteemed dignitaries for joining us with the felicitation. Thank you so much. And now over to Mr. Rahul Rawali with a gracious request to commence the conversation.
Thank you.
I haven't received so many gifts ever in my life. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Extremely excited, honored, and privileged, not just to be here at the IFFI Film Festival, but also to speak about Mr. Raj Kapoor. It's really luck that I was born in this family, and I'm extremely grateful and proud about everything that he has done for the films, for the film industry, and I'm really happy to talk anything about it. So thank you so much for being here. Love you too.
Ranbir, I find myself extremely lucky to be here today. I worked with Raj Kapoor. He was my guru. I worked with your father, who was more than a childhood friend. And now I'm here with you, which is like being with your son. So being with 3 generations, I think, is a great thing. We are here to talk about Raj Kapoor, Sandra here. What has his influence been on you? I know you were very young when he passed away.
Yeah, I think that's always been such a large question. I've always been asked this question wherever I've gone since the time I've been in the film industry. I think when I could remember anything in life, I remembered him as a grandfather, as Dadaji, who was this big man with blue eyes. When me and my sister, when we went to his house, he used to take us to his room and he used to hide these caramel toffees in his fridge. And he used to make us stand in a line, all of us, all the cousins, Karina, Karishma, my sister, myself. And he used to ask us to do salam. and to sing Awara Hoon and to give him a kiss on his cheek, and then we were bribed with a caramel toffee. So that is, so my memories of him are very personal. I got to know him more after I started understanding movies, after I started understanding who he was, what his contribution was. Of course, me being the first grandson who with the name Kapoor in the family. So I, of course, got a lot of love and attention. Whenever my mom used to fire me or shout at me, I used to call him up. And he used to call up my mom and fire her. So I used that as a leverage also. So like every grandkid with a grandfather, my relationship with him was that. He passed away when I was 6 years old. And I still remember I have this vivid memory that, of course, I didn't know what death was and all of those things. But we were in Devnar Cottage, and all the children were upstairs playing, and we were looking down in the garden, and we could just see a sea of people. I've never seen so many people in my life. And I really understood that day, okay, this man has some standing, has some value, he's done something. That's why so many people have come to pay him respect. So that memory will always stay with me, especially when they took his body. And there was, the entire Chembur road was filled with people. Yeah, so these are my early memories of him.
I remember the day you were born, and Saab was ecstatic. It's the first grandson, and I could see that pleasure in his eyes, which I'm sure I wish he was here today to see what you've achieved. It's really tremendous. Tell me, I just noted down a few things. As an actor, how do you interpret the themes he explored in his films?
I think Raj Kapoor, the filmmaker, always explored different themes at different times of his life. If you see his earlier films like Awara, which was based on casteism, it tells you a story about how an individual and the surroundings that he's been brought up in, what is that impact on that person and what that person becomes. If you see Sri Char Subis, he spoke about greed, about the underprivileged, and really trying to make something with their lives. And I think the latter part of the last few films that he made, he really made strong films with really strong Indian moral values. Spoke about the society in such an honest and frank way, still making it really commercial and really entertaining. He made movies, woman-centric films, where he spoke about the oppression of a woman in a patriarchal society and against a misogynistic individual. If you see Prem Rog, he spoke about widow remarriage. If you see talk about Ram Teri Ganga Meli, he actually compared the protagonist Ganga to the river Ganga, how it starts so pure and by the time it reaches down because of society and human habits, it really impures the person. So I think another big example I think of Mr. Raj Kapoor is after he made Mera Naam Joker, which was a colossal disaster. He lost so much of money, his house was mortgaged, and I hear so many stories from my family what was happening at that time. He had the courage to make a film with newcomers. A 50-year-old man making a film for the youth. That means that he really kept with the times. He was not stuck in a cocoon. He was not somebody who was, high up in his ivory tower. He was constantly in touch with the common man. He was constantly in touch with the mass. He was constantly in touch with what kind of stories, people would like to see. And really to make a film like Bobby at that time, at the age of 50, which spoke to teenagers, is something which is truly amazing.
I remember those days because I was very much part of Bobby. And after Mera Naam Joker, with the financial problems he had, when he decided to make Bobby, he told the unit, I'm making this film with a love story, a teenage love story. So we had the financial controller who said, very good, so make this teenage love story with Dharminder and Hema Malini. So he started laughing. He said, look, I'm going to make this with Chintu and with a new girl. And he said, but how did he sell the film? He said, I'm not bothered. Through the making of the film, what I saw is, I saw Raj Kapoor make the film in exactly the way he made his films, which was great. great credit to him. Tell me, which of his films has impacted you the most?
I think two films that come to my mind is Sri Charsobis. I love the story of a vagabond, somebody who has stars in his eyes, very hopeful, and how he makes it, how he deals with fame. That's something which really spoke to me. I loved the music in the film, the performances, everything. And the second film, which is probably my favorite, is Jaktero. It was a film that he didn't direct, but he acted and produced. And that film really spoke to me, especially at a time when I was in film school. I was seeing films of different cultures, different countries. And when I saw Jaktero, I was like, yeah, this should be up there with all the other films that we watch from all over the world, which are applauded and given accolades. So Jaktero and Sri Charsobis. What about yours?
To me, the film which really, apart from Bobby, which I was very close to my heart, was Prem Rog. And especially in Prem Rog, the film and the way Chintu, your father, performed in that film. And tell me one thing, in your legacy, your grandfather was an actor-director. Your father was an actor-director. Any intention of you becoming an actor-director?
Absolutely. I actually always wanted to be a director. I myself went to a film school.
Why do you want us to lose our jobs? Tell me that.
No, I'm far from it. But yeah, I realized that, the opportunities of being an actor came easily. I come from a privileged setting, so of course I had the opportunities, and I didn't want to take that for granted. I want to do my best. And the more I worked with good directors, and I worked with a lot of good directors in the film industry, the more I realized what a hard and a selfless job direction is. Acting is tough too, but it's far more easier than directing a movie. My grandfather directed, acted, produced, wrote, edited a film at the age of 24, which was Arg. Was at 24, right? Yeah, at the age of 24. I'm 42 today, and I still don't have the courage to direct a film. I produced a movie called Jaga Jasoos, which again didn't work at the box office. But it's something which definitely I have a burning ambition. I'm waiting for a story to come because a director should make a movie only if he has a story to tell, not just for the sake of making a movie.
So we can hope to see a movie which is going to be directed by you.
Absolutely, I hope so too.
And, I would love to see that and see how much is Raj Kapoor.
But let me also tell you, when I was in film school, I made various short films which I have buried underground that nobody will ever see because they were so terrible and so bad that I'm extremely ashamed about it. So I have lots of work to do.
Tell me, from in this film which you make, is there anything from Raj Kapoor's way of making films you'd like to invite?
I think, I guess मेरा मानना है कि Raj Kapoor was Raj Kapoor because he didn't really follow a model. He constantly took risks, he constantly pushed the boundaries, he told different stories of different characters. So I think if you really want to take any kind of legacy forward, you have to do it in a very individualistic approach. I remember when I started working in movies, my father was always against my choices. He always wondered, what kind of movies are you doing? What is Barfi and Wake Up Sid and Rocket Singh Salesman of the Year? You should do, more commercial films and speak to a larger audience. But at that point of time, these films spoke to me and I could really engage myself with it. And I could surrender myself to these parts in these movies. So I think what I mean to say is that, of course, we all are offshoots of movies that Mr. Raj Kapoor, Guru Dutt, Bimal Roy, Mehboob Khan, yourself, and all the great filmmakers, Mr. Shekhar Kapoor who's sitting here, we've all taken so much of inspiration. It's the way you say it. It's your perception of life. It's what you have absorbed, as a person, and then you want to kind of just flow into that story, and that's why it's different. It's individualistic. So yeah, heavily influenced, but you have to be individualistic to really make a mark in any way.